Well, when I talk about Unobtainium and Unobtainium, part of what I'm talking about in that chapter is that if you wait until the very end, until you absolutely need these things, that's when it becomes very, very difficult to get and very, very expensive to get. We have at GoldSilver.com, we've got a very high rating as far as customer service goes and all of those things, delivery. But whenever there's a rush, our rating goes down. Why? It's a business. We've got a certain number of employees, and then suddenly the business increases tenfold during a crisis, and we can't ramp up. We can't just instantly call in 10 times more employees to service everybody. It's like, you go to your supermarket and there's parking for 100 cars. What happens if one day 1,000 cars all want to show up at the same time? People can't get in the doors. There's not enough shopping carts. That is the situation. And so you can't say, oh, well, people used to ask me when I thought this would happen, when the crisis will happen. And I would try to answer, well, it could be this long, could be that long, and this could trigger it, and so on. And then a business associate took me aside after a couple of years of watching this and said, Mike, you know what they're really asking you? And I had no clue. They're asking you when it will happen so that they can say, well, notify me and I will buy then. Until then, I want to stay in the stock market and gamble in this area. Well, even just 10% of a portfolio in precious metals, first of all, precious metals has outperformed the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones since the year 2000 by about 300%. It's been the best performing asset class of this century. We have been in a mid-cycle correction since 2011, though, that we haven't completely gotten out of yet. So it depends on when if you want to start measuring it from 2011, it's been a poor performing asset. If you want to measure it from the bottom in 2015 or the bottom in 2001, it's an excellent performing asset. But for this century, it has beaten the stock market, it's beaten bonds, and it's also with this performance. Like I have a tube of 20 gold eagles where I paid $325 each for these things, and right now they're about $2,000 each. And so that was a great investment, and it's something that I can actually hold in my hand that has no counterparty risk. Even if the internet went down, if there was no power, if we had a EMP bomb, the electromagnetic pulse bomb disrupt the internet and the power grid, or a mass coronal mass ejection, or whatever you call it, I can't remember, that just wiped out the power grid. Gold and silver still work. They're still there. And you can put them in your pocket and you can go across borders and things like that. You're supposed to declare anything over $10,000 of value, including gold and silver. However, Canadian maple leaves and U.S. gold and silver eagles have a face value on them, and customs is supposed, I can't guarantee it. So I'm not saying that this is the way that each government is going to look at it. But I got a letter a determination from the government of Canada, and then one of the coinage acts says that these are supposed to be respected at face value. And I do know instances where people have crossed a border with like $400,000, but the face value of those, that was the retail value of those coins, but the face value added up to less than 10,000, because a U.S. gold eagle says $50 on it, and it's worth almost 2,000. These face values are just a bunch of crap. They're not real. Some clerk just, how much should we put on this one? Oh, slap $10 on that one. They make it up. If you look at the U.S. dollar, it's defined as I think it's I can't remember the exact weight, but it's about 3/4 of an ounce of silver. But then they put $1 on the 1 ounce silver eagle. So you've got $1 that's 1 ounce and $1, the old silver dollars that are about 3/4 quarters of an ounce. I think it's 0.72 ounces. And this just goes, there is the US trade dollar, which is an old silver dollar that's another weight of silver. That was used in trade with China, and I think we were trying to cheat China. And so it just goes on and on with all of these idiotic things. I'm on the record for many times saying gold standards suck. Gold is great, but a gold standard where you're using a fiat national currency to represent a certain weight of gold just opens the door for this whole scam to start all over again. But there's no reason that you couldn't price things in grams of gold or nanograms of gold or grams or yeah, it'd be better to use grams of silver. And trade would work just fine. And you would have this thing where you're trading something of value. The amount of work and effort and time and the rarity of it equals the value of the thing that you're buying. It's a fair, honest trade, not dishonest and deceptive. When the bank imagines $1 million into your account for that house that you're going to buy, and you buy a house with $1 million, you're trading nothing for something of value. And that is dishonest. It's fraud. It's theft.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for watching, but this is by no means the whole story. If you want the full story, including my free online-only chapters and companion videos, there's a wealth of information at ggsr21.com. Thanks.